My name's Greg Ingram. I am 18 years old. I currently am going to Queen's University, and I am in the kinesiology undergraduate program.
Your first year there, right, Greg?
Yes, I am a first year at Queen's right now.
You get to start this whole university process in the middle of a pandemic, eh? How's that treated you?
It's been difficult. The organization of schoolwork being handed out is very difficult to maintain right now. But overall, it's an altered experience from what it would be if we were in person, but it's not something I can necessarily complain about. I'm still getting my schoolwork done. So
It's one of those things that, you know what, you learn to do this now, and it's going to make, once you get back in person, it's going to make the study processes and all that easier. And you know what, everyone's in that tough time, but I know in seeing you around the facility and all that, you're doing a good job and handling the adjustment well. I know there's a lot of freshmen right now who haven't been able to necessarily adjust overly well, and you're doing a great job with that. But thank you for joining us today. We're just doing our Flashback Friday. All right, it's great to catch up with you. Actually, you're on our coaching staff right now, aren't you? You're working with the 11U group. How's that treating you?
It's good. They're younger kids. It's more difficult to teach for younger kids, but I'm enjoying it. The kids are enjoying it as well. Same thing with COVID and everything. It's difficult. It's hard to do a lot of in-person training with the kids, but at this point in time, it's going good. Kids are understanding all the stuff and working hard. So
what's been the biggest difference to you from the coaching side of things to how you went about things with the Reds when you were part of the program?
I think the biggest thing would probably just being on the other side of that coaching player aspect, being the person teaching rather than being taught, I think is the biggest thing. My experience with being with the Reds, it was a lot of here's the information that we're going to give you, and then you work for that, or you work at what you want to work at, train, work out, whatever it may be. Now it's more just the other side of the spectrum where it's me handing out stuff for those players, using my prior knowledge of what I was taught to then teach the younger kids how to get better, both as a person,
sure,
all aspects of it.
For sure. And now you're still playing too, right? You're being COVID and everything, you don't necessarily have a season this year with the OUA, but you're currently in training to get on the Queen's baseball team. Have you noticed at all that applying some of that coaching knowledge has even helped your own aspects of training and development?
Yeah, completely. It's a big part of just worth ethic when it comes down to it. So being a player for so long and then finally transitioning over into being a coach, you kind of get to see the view of coaches and seeing players and their worth ethic and what it may look like as a coach. So working to get onto the Queen's team has been very eye-opening, being able to have that drive to work hard to get onto that team. It's not necessarily something easy to accomplish, but once you put your mind on it, it becomes something much more quicker and also a routine.
Exactly. And like I said, you're in this weird kind of first year university layout of everything, but I can honestly say in myself still playing and doing the coaching, that aspect of coaching helps so much. It just opens your eyes to a new avenue of training, of understanding, of trying to relay information. And you'll work with one kid and be like, oh, that really worked for him. And then you say, hey, I might be able to apply this to my game. So that's huge to hear. And you were a part of the Reds for a while too, weren't you? How long were you in the program for?
I believe I program for 6 years, I believe.
You were there right from the start, right? In the 13U developmental?
Yeah, so I was 13U developmental, and I was on the development team for 2 years, I believe. And then 4 years of playing on the 16, or 2 years of the 16, and then was up to the 18U for my last 2 years.
Okay. And in your time with the Reds, do you have a moment whether it be a trip or a training process or anything that like that sticks out to you, but like that was like my most memorable moment as part of the program? That's something that really stuck with me. I remember it. I look back on it. It was a good time being a part of the Reds during those moments. Was there anything in specific that stuck out to you?
Well, big things. It's one, just the idea of being able to go to practice. Although I know I was going to practice to work hard, train for baseball, it was something that just let me get away from any other things I had going on during my month, my year, whatever it may be. So going to practice just let me relax and just have that moment of just, I'm not here to get yelled at. I don't have all these priorities I need to take care of. I was there to work on something that I personally enjoyed. Another one would probably be Florida trips. So going to Dodgertown, it was just more eye-opening aspect of it, where being in Canada, you have winter, you have snow. So having that opportunity to go to Florida during March, well, we still had snow in Canada, but sunny, nice and hot down in Florida. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things, was just going out and being in the sun for a week straight, playing baseball, hanging out with your teammates. Yeah, those are probably my two biggest memories from playing Red.
And you did Florida for 5 of the 6 years, right? Because we used to do that with the developmental teams too, right?
Yes, yes, Florida 5 times.
Started out at the Space Coast Stadium when you guys were real young, and then we moved up to where was Fort Pierce? Fort
Pierce, and then just the last year we were in Dodgertown for that.
Dodgertown, that was an eye-opening, even for a coaching staff. I know we got on you guys a little bit for how we played during that trip compared to some of our other Florida trips, because you guys went out, you guys kind of kicked some ass a little bit there in the first 2 year-round Florida trips. In Fort Pierce, we did quite well. Dodgertown, that was a different animal that we saw. We saw some teams that, you know what? Looking back, it's like it's one of those things where you're, in the moment, you're like, we're getting pumped right now. Like, are we ahead of our league? Like, but when you guys came back, it seemed like you utilized kind of that beating as a little bit of motivation. You guys took that into the season real well and used that as development. And I think you guys did a great job of understanding, like, hey, this is what's out there, right? Like we're good. We played well to this point, but we just got slapped around a little bit, and you guys used that as motivation. Was there a little bit of motivation in that? Because like we said, it was a different animal from the previous.
Like being able to go down to Florida and see different quality of teams down there, because teams from all over the place were there. Like it wasn't just centered just from teams in Florida. We had other Canadian teams down there. So many teams.
Wasn't there that team there from where were they from? They were from like Anchorage.
Yeah, they were
Alaska. We were playing teams from Alaska that were there. I think it was a 16U group at that point, but still, it was a wild experience.
Yeah, it was an experience to see. Also, the fact that places that you may not think play baseball, they have baseball there, but also
good baseball too.
Good baseball. It wasn't like, hey, we just have a baseball team. It was, we're here to compete and we're going to play against you guys and try to win. We lost when we were in Florida. We didn't win many games, but yeah, that 100% helped us when we came into our season. Seeing little things the other teams did to help our team become better. And then also realizing that you're not always going to win games. So I think you always need to see that side of it, where you are going to lose. You're not always a winner. And taking that in and realizing that, hey, you're going to lose, I think it helped our team to become a stronger team together, both as a group of friends, but also as a team as well. Being able to push through situations where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I kind of want to, but we got that drive and the ability to just keep on pushing forward and work hard for what we wanted to earn.
Exactly. And you guys did a great job of that. I know I've done a few meetings now with some of the other guys on the team, Hayden Bruce, Carson Barker, Luca Colella, Chris Ross. I've had the opportunity to sit down with a few of them. And one of the big things that like they all said similar stuff. Like you guys had this ability to continue to push, to continue to fight. And the one that sticks out to me is actually from that Florida trip. It's when we played that independent school from Minnesota that we put up like 9 runs, and I've never seen a team hit a baseball better. They beat us still something like 21-9. We were piecing up their pitcher, and they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. I remember the guys at the end are like, I've never seen a team hit a baseball like that. But you guys did exactly what you said. Like, it was frustrating at the time, yes, because everything's based on wins and losses, but you guys used that as motivation. The next day at practice, you came out with a fire to get better and continue fighting. And like you said, that translated for the entire year. That whole group we had that mentality through and through. And once again, we look at that group, you guys are all doing some big things now. And I think not even on the organization, that had to come down to what you guys did. That had to come down to those efforts and that drive and everything you guys put forward to help you create the path you've created to this point.
And I think a big thing with that would probably be when we were down in Florida, we would see teams made up of really big boys. Like you would have teams that you knew they were specifically just there and they were a hitting team. That's all they did. You had a team where it's like they pitch, they field, where our team was a big combination between a lot of those players. We had kids that were hitters, kids that were pitchers, and kids that were higher in the ability to field than others. So I think it was just the whole idea of, even if we weren't a team that could hit balls hard and far, we found ways to get on base. We found ways to move runners over and get to a situation where we needed to be. So,
and on top of that too, like, not only did you guys do that with the passion of the game, you guys did that a lot of times with a lot of fun. That's one thing I remember back from coaching that age group. We took things seriously, but you guys had a lot of fun with what you did. One of the, and we still use it for some of our marketing stuff today, is that one picture you had, one of the games you were down, you made, I think it was in Florida, you made the goggles out of the cups. Yep. I think we had to go watch the 16U group, and we're like, you guys got to sit on the bench and watch them. And you guys took it, you were cheering them on. You guys made these goggles. I know in one of the interviews we had too, we were talking about the rally banana there for a while.
Yeah.
The game you pitched, 7-inning complete game against probably one of the best teams we ever played in the organization with Ohio Elite. People waving this rally banana all around. So you guys had a lot of fun with it. And I think that's something that needs to be touched on, because in a lot of training nowadays, people take things way too seriously. And you guys did a phenomenal job of taking the serious aspects seriously, but you were able to still maintain the fun of the game.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you did? Because you were a big part of that. You had a great personality for the group. You were always one of the younger guys on the team, but your personality spoke more than your age did. You had this upbeat personality. You had this I'm a work hard personality, but you kept everyone together. Is there an aspect of that with your own training, with your own life, that you have found helpful in finding that joy in hard work?
The big one would be school right now. Even though it may be something that's difficult, I think just me personally, the personality I have is, even though things may get hard and may get difficult, in the end, you're striving for something that you want to accomplish. So when it comes back to baseball, I think you need that mentality of, you have to have fun, because if you are hard on yourself 24/7 about it, you're going to start to not enjoy the things you used to enjoy. So being a baseball player, it's like, if I'm constantly being hard on myself, being like, oh, I missed a ground ball, or you're taking batting practice and it's like, I haven't squared up a baseball once this round. It's the fact that it's just like, don't let those little things beat you up to the point where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I think having fun with it is one thing that countered that a lot. Was, as our team enjoyed having fun with everything, it allowed us to be like, we can have fun, we can joke around, but still work at what we want to work at.
Yeah. And yeah, you guys did a phenomenal job at that. And I do find that in all types of sports, it's a hard balance. It really is a hard balance. Especially the higher up you get, the more you start to see that competitive aspect can take over. But you guys did a real good job bringing all that together for the group. So
Yeah.
I know you've mentioned a lot to this point, and you're with the Reds for a long time, and you've got to experience a lot. You've got to do a lot. Is there any piece of advice from coaching staff, from other teammates, from your time within the organization that you still utilize in your day-to-day life now in your training for university and your training for school? Is there any piece of advice that you received as part of the program that has helped you even with your current situation with school and ball and all that fun stuff?
I don't think it's something that specifically was said to me, but I think it was just the feeling I got when I was there of that you're not required to be there. You don't have to be there. It's a choice you made to do so. So I think the advice would be you made that decision to do what you were doing in that moment. So while you're doing it, make sure you're having fun while you're doing it. Because if you are hard on yourself, it becomes something very difficult to accomplish. So I think that would just be the biggest thing is just you put yourself in that situation. Now you're the one that's going to have to work hard to get yourself to the point where you want to be and get out of that situation.
For sure. And like you said, you had that personality that really brought that group together, and you did really well with that. As I mentioned to you, I wasn't going to take your entire day. I appreciate everything you've had to this point. I'm going to leave us on one final question. Similar to the last one, it's advice-based, but now it's going on to the up-and-comers, right? And you mentioned at the start of the interview here that you're getting to work with those 11U. You're getting to see them come up from the youngest age group we have.
Yeah.
Is there a piece of advice that you can pass along to those 11U, to the 12U, 14U, 15U who might be viewing this, to anyone else who might be viewing this? Is there a piece of advice that you could give someone who's going through that process now that could help them from your experience with the program?
I think especially being a coach of such a young age group, I think my piece of advice would be that aspect of have fun and enjoy what you're doing. Like I said, it becomes difficult when you start to be hard on yourself. So being at that age of an 11-year-old, you're in the game at that point to have fun. For sure, you're there, you're learning new things, you are working hard for what you're on the team for a reason. You went there, you wanted to be there. So you're still there working hard, doing what you need to do, but have fun and don't be so serious about it. I think being extremely serious about something causes this idea of I need to be better, but not just for yourself. You start to think I need to be better for everyone that surrounds me. So I think just have fun and don't be so serious about it, because when you start to learn to have fun and not be serious about it, you're doing it for your personal self and not for your coaches. You're not doing it for your teammates. 100%, it's a team sport. It all comes together in the end, but the whole process of the individuality of it all comes back to you.
Yeah. And once again, you had a great personality, you had a great drive to bring that aspect forward. And I really like how you've emphasized that in this interview, is because it's such an important part, right? There's that fine line of working hard. And we all know that. We stress that from a coaching side, we stress that from a playing side. And I'm sure you can see that from now doing both. You can see how we do that as a coach, and you can see how we pushed you guys as players. But you are exactly right. As soon as that fun of the game starts to wear, as soon as that pressure starts to mount, it becomes more like a chore. And you're going to continue to grow and continue to succeed and continue to see those gains within the game when you're able to take that fun out of it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? Baseball is a game. It's meant to have fun. And yes, there's working hard. But as you've mentioned all day today, I really enjoy that aspect you've shared with myself and with the viewers on that idea of, hey, we're here, we're going to work, but we're going to have fun doing it.
Yeah. And like, I think all that I've been taught with the Reds, everything I've learned from the Reds then applies largely to everyday life situations. So like I said, with schoolwork,
yeah, be hard on yourself to the point where it's like, I need to be determined, I need to be focused and not be lazy about it.
Yes.
But don't be hard on yourself where it's, I need to get this done, and if I don't get this done, everything around me is just going to cave in. It's everything in life, there's difficulties you have. Just be serious about it, be focused, but make sure you're relaxed and having fun with it at the same time.
Exactly. And one of my favorite quotes, it's from one of my favorite authors. His name is Mark Manson. And he has a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving Enough. And in that book, he essentially mentions kind of what the concepts you're going over. And that's this idea of life is built around problems. And everyone wants to go around having no problems in your life. But that schooling you want to obtain is going to bring problems of stress and late nights and studying. But it's eventually going to become worth it. You're going to overcome it.
Yeah.
Right. And the job you want to get, it's going to bring stress. It's going to bring deadlines. It's going to bring all that. But that's what's going to help continue pushing you forward. And essentially life comes down to the problems you feel today, hopefully a week from now, a month from now, are minimal. And we have that ability to compensate and push through it. So not necessarily the exact same thing you mentioned, but very close. And I like the way you think about that, because it is a big factor. If we take life, if we take training, if we take whatever we do so seriously, we're going to burn ourselves out and lose the enjoyment in it. So I really, really enjoy that message you've passed forward. I enjoy the emphasis you put on it too, because I can say from being your coach for pretty much 5 of those 6 years, you had that ability to always bring the fun around everybody else, whether it's just in something you did, whether it's in the way you trained, whether it's in just playing Gold Glove, you're trying to make that extra play, which is then making the next guy make the extra play. You used fun to help challenge your teammates. You used fun to help challenge yourself. And I think that's an aspect of the game that definitely goes undervalued. So I really appreciate that from both you as a player and getting to see you as a coach. You have that ability to bring that out. So from both sides, your coach side and a colleague side, like I really enjoy that aspect. You always got to bring each and every time you came into the facility.
For sure.
So, well, anyways, Greg, thank you for your time. Greg Ingram, he is a freshman at Queen's University. He is also one of our 11U assistant coaches. Was a pleasure working with Greg for the 6 years he's in the program. Saw him grow as a ball player, saw him grow as a young man, and now he's doing big things. We're excited to continue seeing where you go, seeing the future endeavors you have. And I'm glad you took the time to sit down with us today and have a little conversation.
100%. No problem at all.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Greg. Until next week, we'll see you for our Flashback Friday.